They said, we heard you yell another word, that's what he was.
Both start with F, I'm sure.
All right, Chairman, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, I'll call the, Clinton County Capital Resource Corporation meeting to order. Declare a quorum and waive the reading of the notice of the meeting as well as the minutes. And ask for Don, Mike, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do you have any presentations?
None, Chairman.
Comment? Committee reports, treasury report. Joey.
Okay, thank you. The balance sheet, the account balance as of June 30th, 2026 was $249,985. In checking, $553, $761.19 in the sweep account, and $247,576.12 in the savings account. As far as income, the organization received $305.03 in interest and income. And the organization received an administrative fee from Champlain Valley Physicians Hospital, the amount of $554,250. Expenses, invoice paid in June, bank ACH positive pay fee of $15. And that's my report.
Any questions for Joey?
Right, just
May I get a motion?
got a quick question. I just reminded when Billy read the income for the month. What is that number is commensurate with everything we talked about and the fee for CBPH? That's exactly what we discussed, correct?
That's the full amount.
Okay.
We'll have a discussion later on
Oh, okay.
about how to change that
We got the
possibly.
full amount of the candidate.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Not, may I get a motion to approve the treasury report? Mark, second. Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business,
No old business, Chairman.
new business.
We have, I'm sorry, Mike?
Ryan.
Ryan DeMars.
Yep.
Is here, from the Strand. As you might remember, just to refresh your memory, the county some years ago, gave via the CRC money to support the Strand, taking out a loan for improvements. I'm gonna let their president, speak, as to some situation that has come up. We had before granted them an extension, and that is what they are here seeking today, is a 1-year extension for their final payment.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Cool. Should I?
Yep, come on up.
Awesome. Thank you. So hello, I'm Ryan Demers. As Molly mentioned, I'm the board chair of the Strand. And I'm here to request a delay of a payment or final payment to the county of $20,000 to next year, mainly due to some unanticipated theater repairs. The biggest one is a $10,000 repair to an audio issue we've had that if that goes down, we're kind of up the creek. So I'm here today to ask you all if that's something that we could do and answer any questions you may have on that.
I'll just note that, speaking with the county and the county representatives, it would be their desire for the IDA the CRC to grant this extension.
You answered my question.
You're welcome. I know you will.
Well, I mean, because the last time we went through this, which was the first time.
Right.
I remember, Legislator Timmons was actually here, so they're fully aware of everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is the county gonna formally approve this, or is it just?
I don't think the
I don't
county
think they need
formally
to.
approves it. It's us that is once they pay the money, the CRC gives it back to the county.
No, I know. Is the county's aware of this?
Yes.
Okay,
And in favor of it.
that's fine. Perfect.
And I will add that the Strand did make a payment last year.
The big
That was-
4 or 5,
Yep. For,
and they made one after the delay.
yes. So I guess we would need to get a,
Yeah, so there's a resolution for you. That's exactly what we just talked about, the first and remain and then for 1 year. So there's $20,000, $100,000 deferred for this year.
I'll make that motion.
Uh,
You're gonna read it? I'm sorry. Yeah. You let me run the meeting for one time.
What? You put your mark all over it. Get a motion to, approve resolution number 07-26-01, a resolution authorizing, deferment of payment with respect to a loan from the Clinton County Capital Resource Corporation to Strand Performance Arts Center.
So moved.
Second.
I'll save you for later. Beautiful. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Tran, yes. Dave Hoover.
Yes.
Mike Zerler.
Yes.
Mark Leonard.
Yes.
Joey Trumbull.
Yes.
Steve is excused. John Bennett.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
They didn't even grill you.
Not even at all. Thank you prepared too, I swear. Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody?
You may.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you all.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So just as a clarification.
Yes.
The money comes from the county
The money came from the county.
and then it went to CFP. We loaned it out.
The county gave it to the CRC. CRC gave it
The
to.
county can't make loans, but the CRC can.
So then we reimburse.
Whenever we get a payment from the Strand, we pass a resolution to give it back to the county.
Okay. Okay. CDPH funds.
So, as you might recall, there, at the last minute, CBPH was concerned with the amount of fee that they were going to have to pay. We were very clear, Chris, about the fee the whole time. I don't know if you've heard, the hospital's been having financial problems. But they're looking, the network is looking at cutting, this is my CBPH board chair, CBPH board member hat on. They have to cut 100 million every year for the next 3 years across the network. So anywhere they can save money is what they've been tasked to do. It was concerning to me that we could set a precedent by just cutting our fee. So in speaking with Chris, how we could be good stewards to our hospital, which is one of the largest employers, I think the second largest employer in the county, perhaps. Not excluding public sector, but so what we could do is give them money for a project that they have with an amount that you're comfortable with. Everybody had a couple of different ideas on that. Two of the projects that they have proposed, the first I think is a little bit cleaner, maybe. It would be capital improvements that are necessary for the ambulatory surgery center for them to be able to continue operations as is. If they don't make those, they will have to cut surgeries, which will mean less employment and also less surgeries, which is less revenue. The second would be upskilling employees. I'm not sure how much that really benefits them, given that that's not something they really pay for now. I think it would be an added benefit. So if we're looking to help them defray costs, I think the capital expenses would be a preferred method. If everyone is comfortable with that recommendation, what your discussion needs to be is about how much you want to spend. Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, can I add a little?
Yep.
So perfectly legal for the CRC to use part of it, like Molly said, I don't, it's not a great precedent to set, but every time you get a bond fee, part of it back. So we've done these for other CRCs where there was someone in the community. I'll just take an example. We did a transaction for Coney University, Madison County, and part of their fee went back to a housing program in the city of the town of Hamilton, where Colgate is located. But you can also give it back in the form of financial assistance to the project applicant. The way we typically structure this, there's an economic development grant agreement, which is entered into between CRC and whoever's getting the money, and a set dollar amount that would be approved by this board, obviously. As they, incur expenses for that project, they give us invoices and we reimburse them basically for that amount. That way, we're not just handing company, whoever getting money, hundreds of thousands of dollars without any kind of check and balance. So that's how we typically structure it. Yeah, so a resolution would authorize entering into that agreement up to a certain dollar amount. Happy to answer any questions.
Have you done the math? Maybe it's an unfair question, but how much did the fact that they're using our tax exempt bonds benefit the hospital?
Oh, yeah,
Unfair question.
unfair question, but yeah, obviously the savings from taxes on bonds are much better than if they went to a commercial bank.
You have thoughts on that, John?
Someone could say that we've already
Except-
saved that.
except John's bank.
You know what, and I'll say this because I'll put on my Mike Zerlo hat. They never came to the community banks who held the debt in the first place.
Yeah.
And asked them to do anything about debt. They just went out to large US banks and said, here it is. So there's no community benefit by their refinance.
Right, and it was a sizable amount of bond proceeds. It was $80. So the CRC's fee was $555,000. What was a little frustrating was, like 3 or 4 days before the closing, bond transaction takes 4 months typically. Days before the closing, it's like, whoa, that fee's really high. We're honest about the fee from the beginning. There's a policy, CRC's policy. It's on the website, so that was a little.
Our fee is a lot lower than some other IDAs too.
There's a 3/4 1%, right? So a lot of our clients have 1%. So because they raised it at the last minute, Molly and I discussed, and we thought, let's just get the money in the door for the CRC, which you're entitled to, and then let the board decide if you want to go this route. Certainly, it's not a requirement to do that. You could pass, absolutely pass.
With this service in the future.
The only downside, Joey, is like Molly said, the next project applicant that comes along for bonds says, wait a minute, you did this for.
How are we able to say no as a group to the next person? When they ask for a benefit? We don't like you as much, you're not as big of an employer? I mean, what is the rationale for us?
Right, we're setting precedent over there.
Correct.
CJ, don't get any ideas.
That's why, that's why in some of these situations, it's a little better in terms of optics and not setting precedent. I'll use another college example. We did a bond transaction for Casanova College before.
Yeah, good job. Maybe they should have asked before.
But they had in the town of Casanova, they had an arts program that was looking for some funding. So in connection with the college talking to us, we talked to this arts program. Everybody agreed, okay, we'll use some of the proceeds from the Casanova bond transaction, CRC, and went to CAS, it was called CAS Arts. And that was given to them, wasn't given back to the college. So you're not setting
Have
precedent.
you ever done one that went back to the project applicant?
I haven't.
Are you aware of any that have gone back to the project applicant?
I don't think George ever did one. No. It's perfectly valid to do so, but in my experience, no.
Would it be wise to give them a interest-free loan back over a period of time? If that would help them.
You could do that.
I want to be clear too. I was very clear with them that, we just gave BOCES a bond. No money was given back to BOCES. And so they were putting us in a difficult spot.
Right.
And well, Matt was very understanding of that. They understood that if they couldn't get it, they couldn't get it.
Yeah, I get the sense they're not screaming at that.
No, they're just, as I said, they have some difficult financial situations to deal with, so they're looking to save wherever they can.
Thing is, everybody has a story. They do,
It's true,
right?
especially these days.
Everybody's got a story. So what do you do?
I have not heard from David and I've not heard from Mark, but unless they have, I've not heard anybody saying that we should be doing this either. Where's that? Are we just talking to make ourselves feel better or does somebody actually want to do this?
I'm trying to understand it better before I make a rational decision. That's why I'm trying to figure out, is there a way we can do it? we're set precedent.
I think everybody had said on your email, just
We
for,
did,
that
yeah.
everybody said, yes, let's give them a portion of it back. Your
We did say that.
consensus was how much?
Correct.
Yes,
But as we. talked
except there was
about, we waited.
one of you said absolutely not. I don't remember which one of you
It
it was.
wasn't me, don't.
So,
I'm not
No,
saying
Mike,
that
no,
I'm
Mike.
necessarily
Mike, no,
against
Mike
it.
was somewhat.
Maybe it was just Mike's then that said, well, I would say no, but if we
Right.
have to.
That was me.
That was Mike.
Okay.
that was an informal.
Yes, correct. I just, yeah,
Right, right.
those are what your thoughts were. Not saying that you hurt your
No,
marriage.
it was an email,
Yeah.
but now we're discussing.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should set a precedent because where Mike is going, how do we say no to the next person? We are setting a precedent.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. Is there a way you can do it where it's a tax-free loan if they need the money over a period of time? But it is something you're really excited about that.
No. Well, we'd have to document it, but obviously a CRC can loan funds, that's not a problem.
just being creatively thinking, sitting here, I guess you could make the argument if somebody were to propose this in the future, what is the community benefit, right? And so in this case, the bond might not have a community benefit, but you could argue that the ambulatory surgery center certainly serves a significant community benefit. We're already seeing patients that are waiting very long times to get in for procedures. And so if they have to scale down even more,
What is the project that they're doing,
they would,
contemplating?
they would propose infrastructure improvements to ambulatory surgery. And if they cannot do that, they will have to stop, they will have to reduce surgery load. They do not have the money to do that right now.
But if we were to give 100, use that number. The project, they want to do is more than $100,000. Or would that cover it all?
I did ask for numbers and,
That was my question, though, it's a drop in the ocean in terms of covering any project.
It's gotta be
it
$1
could
million.
It could be.
Well, that's my point. So it's like,
I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
I didn't get an answer on that.
I would be willing to contribute to the project. No more than, what is it, was it 550,000 is the fee
Yeah.
we received?
555.
No more than 10%.
that's lower than you said in the email.
But no, that's 10% higher than it said in the email. No, that's it. Unless you disagree with me. In which case, that would be fine.
Email that you said. I remember you saying that.
Do you want to make that motion, Mike?
No, I don't know if that's should be in the form of a motion
Oh,
yet,
okay.
but that's my feeling.
I guess one of the things that I'm struggling with is, like you said, it's probably easier to envision the issues that would happen, you know, versus another business doing it. It doesn't mean that we change our evaluation
Right.
process. And how does that get weighed in? How did we get credible input on the project cost and what's going to go through to be able to say that that's truly what's at risk? I'm sort of like you said, going through the process, you know, trying to assume what the big picture is here.
Right,
If
yeah.
we don't do something or if we do something. I'm not really clear. I'm not criticizing what you're proposing.
It wouldn't be the
but
first.
It's the foundation, that we have to start with. And I don't know whether more conversation needs to be discussed on the specifics.
They were very clear what they were supposed to pay when this all happened.
We were.
Yes.
Okay. In the conversation, from what I'm hearing, it'd be nice if we did it, but they are not going to lose sleep if we don't do it. Is that what I'm picking up in this?
My sense, and you correct me.
No.
My sense is they were kind of surprised that this was even an option.
All right,
And
I was being nice.
I'm with Mike. I'm with Mike's.
is that fair?
Yeah,
Mike, is that
yeah.
better? I'm with your email. I think we're setting precedent. They knew it coming in. It sounds like it'd be a bonus to them if we did it. I set the precedent.
And then maybe there's another beneficial option.
Yeah.
Outside of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. One of the
You're pretty quiet on that.
That, you know what I mean? Like in my examples, that you're better, you're able to be giving back.
With all due respect, and this, the hospital are wonderful people. I'm not picking on the hospital.
No, either am I.
But they wouldn't be asking for a portion of their fee for a community project that's not theirs.
Yeah,
So as much as I would appreciate that, they wouldn't care. That's not what they're asking for.
I think even if we give back the whole fee, it's a drop in the bucket. And, I'm opposed to setting precedent. I do agree that I think our charge is to support community projects and donated something that way. I think we stay within our own lane.
Right, we could do that, you know, have anything to do with CPPH, that's sort of the purview of this board, right? Or flexibly some funds with the CRC.
So I'll take Mike's lead as I talk through this. I say no.
You ready for a motion, Chairman?
Yes.
Joey?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So no to the request?
I don't even know if we need a motion.
No.
If you have the consensus.
I mean, the only thing I would say is if they had a specific ask at a future time,
Mm-hmm.
we would entertain something, okay? But just giving them back money because they didn't like the fee structure
Right.
now
That is a great point.
is a no. If there is something specific that we could help with in the future, and they had a legitimate ask with dollars and cents and all that kind of stuff, totally separate from this transaction, then I would say we would.
No, I like that, John. Notwithstanding this bond transaction, the CRC stands ready to assist the community
Sure.
for a project that benefits the community.
I like that.
I wrote down your wise words, Michael.
So do we,
That'd be good.
so does everybody agree with that approach?
Good job.
You're not closing the door. I have good options.
Okay,
You'll circle back.
yep, I will. Yep.
Very good.
That way, even if they do come with a project, we will know what the project is.
Yes. And they can have dollars and cents attached to it.
Then you put community value to it.
Any other business for CRC?
None, sir.
Not, getting motion to adjourn. Dave, second John. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Opening up the Clinton County Commercial Development Agency meeting. Declare a quorum. Wait the reading of the notice of the meeting as well as the draft minutes and ask for a resolution to approve that. Second, Joey. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Only presentations.
Yes, so first up, we have Champlain Solar. Ryan McCune is on the line to present for Nexamp. This is a company we have worked with before.
Hey, y'all.
We are working with Ryan on different valuations and completing the cost benefit analysis, but today Ryan is just here to tell you about the project, and at our next meeting, we shall contemplate the public hearing resolution. Ryan, take it away.
Very good. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Apologies for not being on camera here. I'm actually, I have a baby in one arm and a presentation in the other one. So I don't think you guys would want to be watching that. So yeah, again, Ryan McCune, Nexamp Solar, nice to be back. We've worked with you all on two different projects that have been constructed and turned on in the past couple of years, namely Great Chazy Solar and Northway Solar. Both of those projects are operational, doing their thing. And this project was actually a third project that would have been built on a similar timeline as those other two, but there was a moratorium or kind of a soft moratorium in the town of Schuyler Falls with a new local law that had to be drawn up, and our project had to kind of navigate that process, and it delayed it by well over a year. So ultimately, that's why we're here to chat with you all today. The project itself is actually relatively small. It's a 2.85 megawatt AC project sitting on just under 15 acres of land. It's a single axis tracker project, much as what you guys have seen before, with no energy storage contemplated. So, generally speaking, the project, if we move forward with the pilot as structured, is poised to increase the overall tax revenue for the parcel around 650%, which is obviously pretty drastic. We have already paid just under $890,000 to NYSEG for interconnection upgrades in the area. And we are planning and working towards closing an environmental contribution payment to the town, which should fall somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 that needs to be paid before the project's turned on. And then lastly, using the New York State Assessment Calculator, we're kind of assuming around $1,800 a year of special district taxes associated with this project as well. I know you guys are no stranger to these projects, so I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I'm open to any and all questions if you have them, and happy to discuss the project.
Kevin? Ryan, Mike Zerlo here. The payment to the town is a payment that's outlined in their local law, and nothing you did outside of the local law? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So a couple of the towns around there, including the town of Peru, have what they call an environmental contribution payment, which is 1% of the assessed value of the project paid prior to the project being turned on. So yeah, that's within the scope of the local law.
And is this in Saranac district or Peru district?
Peru.
Have there been any conversations with the school district?
So Ms. Ryan just made me aware of this new wrinkle that's come up since our last two closings with you all regarding the school district. We have not reached out to them yet. I'd actually asked for kind of a brokered introduction there to the business office just to get things moving.
Brian, you're on my to-do list for today.
Very, very cool. Yeah, so we have not had that conversation with them yet, but we intend to push that forward this week and next, and have that conversation with them around how they want this agreement structured.
Thank you. And the request is in contemplation with our UTEP.
Yes.
Yep.
No deviations.
No deviations that I'm aware of.
Any other questions, guys? All right, Brian, I think you're off the hook. You can go back to playing dad.
I'm not playing dad. I am dad today. We're holding it down. But
Good answer.
Good answer, Ryan. Good answer.
But I appreciate everyone's time. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Chairman, just want to add to that. So to the point about the school district, Chris, Shannon, and I had a meet last week to try and figure out how we streamline this host community agreement process for the schools, because there's been a lot of, we had wanted this to be on the school districts, right? If you want this benefit, you need to do this. We have found projects and school districts lagging in that arena. And so.
Well, how do we communicate? Let's take this example. How do we communicate?
Chris, do you want to come elaborate? When
So I think the.
And I want to say, CJ's gonna, you can ask him questions later. This does not apply to the Schluter project because we're already down the road on that one. So we will figure out the host community agreement situation, but going forward, this is the solution we
Yeah,
came up with.
We thought, Shannon and I kicked it around whether or not to have a policy or just an informal procedure. I think that the gist of it is though that it's on the project applicant to reach out to the school district early on in the process, but we need to know one way or another before the board before we approving resolution. Like the gist, we're not gonna even think about approving this until we know yea or nay if the school district wants a host community. I think maybe some parameters there would be, they have to reach out and then within 30 days of the public hearing, something like that, they have to tell us one way or the other, the host community is in play.
Similar to our process of present public hearing.
No, that's all wonderful, but in fairness to the school districts who may want this, but may not know that a project is even being contemplated by the IDA, how do we tell them?
Project applicant.
How do we
I mean, the applicant or the school district?
How do we tell the applicant to get a hold of the school district?
So you'll see with Brian, so I have a very clear email to Brian that said, just so you aware, this is our new process. So it is on the IDA staff when they come to us to say, before you can get an approving resolution, you must reach out to the district.
Not just that there's a host community possible, but we're not gonna, the IDA not gonna.
Because I have it, yeah, exactly.
Approve resolution until we know.
Because I've been very clear with them that it's the second they apply, this is the process.
Yep.
However, it kind of goes, they know it's kind of like the fee, right? You get to the closing table, they go, oh, shoot.
That way we know not even forward unless we know the school district is in or out.
Because I think in your meeting that you had, I don't know who attended, but with the superintendents,
Yes,
I think we made it clear that we would communicate. You know, we would never want to get down the process of providing the benefit and then, you know, not even knowing that their desire was to
right.
have a agreement.
I don't want to put work on your plate, but you might be involved in those. issues
And that's fine.
After they,
I have a pretty good rapport with all the superintendents. Even Jay doesn't hate me yet, so, you know. Doesn't like our projects, but, I have a very good rapport with all of them. I try to answer their questions whenever they have them, so, you know, fortunately for me in my prior life, I had made a lot of those relationships anyway, so.
one of the issues is sometimes on a smaller project, when you have local counsel for the project applicant that doesn't do a lot of these projects, they go, "Well, what's host community agreement?" So we get involved in that a little bit to provide a form of the document to their lawyer and shepherd them through the process, but just stepping backwards, like those community agreements between the town and the project applicant, the school district rather, and the project applicant, the IDA doesn't sign it, we're not a party to it, so we don't really want fingerprints on it.
Right.
We can give a form of that to their council to expedite the process.
Right, but our benefiting resolution says that should one of those exist, the benefit would be equal to what would have been provided under a pilot?
Yes, and so this is a little technical, but under the general municipal law, even if they're getting exactly, the school district is getting exactly what they would get under a pilot, it's still technically what we call a diversion, which means all of these schools, all of the tax jurisdictions have to sign them. So that's why we need to know early on if the school district wants to be a part of the process with MHCA. So if we know that, then we draft the resolutions or company council, but it's usually us, to those different jurisdictions to get it approved. So we want those in hand before we close. Make sense?
Mhm.
Right. Anything?
I think that you got it.
Okay.
If anybody has any other questions. So we'll make sure that process is followed the way we've been making sure people come to make the presentation first. And I'll add that CJ has already been in communication with, Peru's, council for post-meeting agreement in school, and they're working through that, so. So next up, we have, another presentation, Chairman. Alex is here from Camoin. We have completed the next steps in our housing strategy. And Alex, and you all had this ahead of time, and I gave you some summaries, and it's also in your packet. We have it up on the screen. So without further ado, I'll let you take it away.
Tell me a little bit about what you're hoping for, timing, conversation, presentation.
10, 5, 10, 20, what do you need?
Give me like 10 to 15.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fine.
So I think I was here probably this time last year, maybe 2 years ago. Housing needs assessment. We got into the data, where the market's at, what the context for Clinton County, and then you all made the decision to take that data and essentially, you know, figure out how to operationalize it. We've got this data. What do we do with it? How do we get shovels in the ground and address the housing crisis? So that's what we did over the last 6 or so months. A couple of just headlines, you know, whether you've gone through it or not, I'll give you the highlights today. A couple of things to keep in mind though. No housing strategy for a county is going to be a one size fits all. We've got very different communities, very different needs, very different wants, how they want to grow, not grow. And that's a local decision. Zoning is for the most part, a local decision, and that resides at the community level. So this is intended to meet communities with the stage that they are at, whether they're a pro-housing community with the state or whether they're totally on the other end of the spectrum. Second thing would be this, again, county-wide strategy, not necessarily the IDA strategy for housing. While yes, certainly a role for the IDA, and you'll see that in the document. There are many people in this field, nonprofit, private, other public sector, again, local to regional, state, federal, So keep in mind, this is all not on the plate of the IDA, but you'll see the term housing coordinator, I think lead housing coordinator throughout the report. That's gonna be a role, not an entity specifically, but a role that needs to be taken on, and I think that might be part of the conversation. Third thing, there's a lot in here, but if I were in your positions, one thing that I would really think about is where do we start now, today, and maybe in 6 months? That, there's a lot to do, and it is complex partnership-based work, but acting today and moving forward with some sort of priority action does make a difference and will continue momentum. So those are the three sort of core things. Let's fly through some of these. Can I scroll?
I can scroll for you. Just tell me where to go.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. We know the timeline.
Oh, you want me to go?
No, it's okay. Keep going.
Okay.
Let's do one more. Okay, the one thing that I did want to point out here, and so part of what we did maybe sometime in the winter was meet with some municipalities and talk with them about their experiences in housing. We decided to talk with or invite the pro-housing communities. So there are 6 of those. I believe we had almost all 6, maybe 5 came.
I think we were missing one, yeah.
Yeah, and so one of the big conversations that we had in that meeting was around the different roles in housing, again, from public to private to nonprofit, and what that looks like, understanding their role as a municipality, where they need to seek out support, and same thing for the IDA. Just keeping in mind the role of the IDA and public sector in general has shifted, changed over time because we've seen such market failures, really, right? We have seen that the market demand just not be met with inventory for many, many reasons, which we discussed last time. And the role of public sector to advance where they can is going to make the difference here. In communities where there is housing being built, there is some sort of public support in various forms, and a couple of those are listed there. So just to keep in mind, a little bit of a shift maybe in terms of how the public sector is engaging in housing recently. All right, we can zoom ahead here. This is, by no means a comprehensive list, but some of the agencies, entities, groups that, 10 years ago when housing sort of came on the scene as the need in the community, folks with money sort of jumped into it, and lots of folks are doing housing. So that's part of recognizing just who's at the table for some of these conversations. All right, we can click ahead here. Oh yeah, we can go ahead. Keep going. I think all of this is probably a given just in terms of making the case. Again, some of these numbers we drew exactly from the needs assessment, the biggest pressures on seniors, renters of all incomes, lower income pressures, and also in those brackets, your teachers, your firefighters, your sort of, mid-range incomes, seeing challenges for housing as well. So I won't belabor those, but everything we sort of talked about with the last data set. You can keep cruising through these. And again, I'm sure that, right, this has been many conversations that you guys had at this table. Without action, we still see folks that are not taking jobs because they can't find housing. They might have accepted a position and, have to turn it down in the end. We see this continuing to happen without action. We're seeing communities struggle, but that means employers struggle, economies struggle. Here we are. Okay, so these are the 3 primary aspects of the strategy. I will not go into great detail on any one of these. Happy to answer any questions, but I would keep these 3 verbs in mind. encourage new housing. So we're encouraging the building of new inventory. Fixing or replacing older homes. So we've got a, large building stock that is historic in some cases, dated in other cases. And those folks need support in rehabbing. New build is not going to be a reality for everyone. And so the rehab of older homes is absolutely a big part of this strategy and the tools that are needed to do that. And then third would be building capacity to really do objective 1 and 2, which again comes back to the housing coordinator. Okay, doesn't sound like we want to get into the details on some of these. The one sort of for objective 1 and 2, actually, I would say some of the place to start or biggest takeaway, I would say, is there are existing resources, there is existing capacity, and it's actually grown exponentially this year with the Accelerate Workforce, North Country Housing Fund from the state that has gone through the Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board. They have a lot of money over there since March to be able to do technical assistance, support with zoning, build the capacity of municipalities that just have no one on staff to do some of this work. So you'll see in the document there indicated where those partnerships are. And I think that would be the biggest thing to stress, that there are resources available, there is capacity. The work it's going to take is connecting municipalities to those resources right now.
Is that a application process for someone who's interested, or is that are they waiting to give out that money?
Let me step back from that just real quick. Is that the ESD money, Empire State Development?
Yeah.
$3.5 million?
Yes,
So there's $500,000
Yeah.
that goes to Lake George or Lake Champlain, Lake George Regional Planning Board that they can use to assist, do some training, get that kind of stuff going, right?
exactly. There's three tranches. There's technical assistance, which zoning assessments would fall into. The capital, the money for capital improvements is actually going through DANK.
That's the $3 million.
I
That's $3
forget
million
the
that's
exact
going
amount,
through,
yes.
But it'd be, the North Country Alliance will actually be,
Oh, supporting that.
that's the lending.
Okay.
Anyway, but that can be used for private or public.
Mm.
Okay, so it's very, so if I want to build a development somewhere and I need assistance getting the infrastructure in, I can go and apply for that. But it has to be through the IDA, I think, in order to go, or it has to be through another organization to get to money.
The NCA money?
Yeah. I think that's why we have.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm sorry for
I
that.
was just again, so
It's an important thing, though, it really is.
Well, yeah, we generally, it's like a sponsorship kind of, doesn't it technically pass through here, I don't think. Like we wouldn't pass for
I
like,
think you have to be the applicant on behalf of the private organization.
maybe, yeah.
the one other piece of that, the second or third tranche, I guess, is pre-development support. So your architectural, your environmental things before shovels get in the ground, there's also funding available for that as well. And I believe that's through that Lake Champlain George. Yep. All right, I think you can fly through these. Again, happy to answer any questions. Oh, this was my big.
Go back?
That's right there. No,
Okay.
that's just the Accelerate Workforce
Okay.
Housing and the 3 different tranches there.
Okay.
Oh, one piece to note here, that you'll see some call outs is the land bank. That is a tool.
Easy.
I don't work for the county.
Just a tool in the toolbox for particularly objective 2, fixing and rehabbing housing. I know the county's had conversations about this in the past.
Challenging conversations. We're working through those discussions little by little.
Right, so it's noted in the strategy. Okay, you can fly through these. I think you can probably just keep going until the end when there's there's some data.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you
no,
want to
this
go to the
one's-
land bank?
No, this is
Okay.
fine. this is sort of the, where do we go from here in terms of working with municipalities and then sort of the role for the county and then the IDA. At the municipality level, getting connected to those resources and helping them understand what their sort of land conditions and layout are to be able to build. That's got to be the top priority. Again, this is not every community. We're not every community in the county. But those ones that are pro housing, that are at the table, that are, seeking those resources. When we did have that meeting earlier in the year, someone had just made the comment that the pro housing funds also provide technical support and was some of the easiest funds to access in terms of state funds. So all that does have benefit and provide supports for municipalities. And then on the county side, I'll just leave with the coordination of all of this. It's certainly happening in pieces, and I think part of the conversation moving forward is just going to be about how that capacity continues to grow. So I'll pause there. Happy to answer any questions or go into detail in any particular area.
So just when does a draft, I don't understand, I know you and Molly have been talking, but when does a draft become a final public document that our roadmap?
So we want to be able to have this meeting to, get some insight, feedback. That's why it's, marked draft. So nothing has been public as far as my knowledge at this point.
When you're comfortable with it, I think would be the answer.
Well, I think the
When you was board,
conversations
yeah.
you're having, maybe with county leaders that, because as an IDA who, whose members are put here by the county legislature, I'd want to make sure that whatever we put out as our document.
Yeah.
It's not fly in the face with what,
They
county
want,
leaders want to do.
yes.
So maybe at an upcoming economic development committee meeting, you can
Sure.
talk to that group about where this group is.
Yep. Fully my intention, but obviously, given that it's your study, I wanted to get the feedback here, and then bring it back to the county, so.
So does this, just another, I know the first time we talked,
Mhm.
There was, the metrics didn't.
Hard to take you seriously.
Yeah, but have you ever seen the answer?
No. It's a professional meeting. So, the metrics were a little at odds with developers wanting to, just build.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Has there been, other than identifying the problems, and where we need to focus, is the general environment changed at all since you looked at those numbers?
I don't think there's been any earth-shattering changes. However, I think there has been some success stories and movement to point to, some proving of the market, if you will. And I think, this strategy alone, the funding from the state, like all these pieces together provide a, right, they're showing that there is intention and, some money, honestly, behind.
So we're feeling, I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly felt it. We're feeling a little pressure. Like when we do take an affirmative action to support a housing project, the negative Nellies come out and say, what are you doing that for them for? They could, it's like, we want to play a role and then we get chastised for playing that role.
That's just IDAs in general. That's any project we do.
But you're being chastised by other developers.
By other people who think that the developer did not need our assistance.
Sure. Everybody's got an opinion.
We see that housing projects super every idea, so that's housing. It's the same low hanging fruit, kind of, you're having a rich developer, well, if you don't have a developer involved, I think it's not.
But the thing is, we don't see development here, big housing developments. Yeah, we're 1,100 homes short.
Yes,
So there's gotta be an incentive.
correct, because what's happening right now is, you know, a lot of these developers and say Clifton Park, for example, they can get a lot more money, for the same kind of units there as they could up here, right? So we have to have those incentives to make it worth their while.
Right. So how do we incentivize the developers, whether they're rich or not, to do this? Because they aren't doing it. Number one.
Well, I think that's why we created the new housing incentives, right?
Right.
That's part of it,
I
yeah.
know, so I think every township's different, they gotta face away restrictions that hinder developers, I heard that a lot. This town.
Enter
here.
Alex.
Right, I
I
mean,
think the zoning and, yeah, yeah.
so I mean, that's number one. Number two, what can we do to incentivize? 'Cause we need 1,100 homes.
Yeah.
I mean, on the national level, they can change the capital. Don't pay any capital gains on 500,000. If you're married, they could double that to $1 million now, the way the prices have gone up. That would free homes up that people don't want to sell or pay capital gains on.
Right.
So, I mean, you got the federal level, local level,
Right.
state level.
The other thing on the zoning and just land use side of things and at the local level, I think really understanding the infill potential too, like where there's small gaps in communities that already, you know, are dense by Clinton County standards, that there's more potential there than I think is realized, that, you know, in terms of housing development is lower cost and lower investment. And when we talk about developers, right, that could be someone building a fourplex, a duplex. So I would think about developers on a scale too. Yes, there's, you know, you're maybe 50, 60 units, but again, not going to be fit for every community. So one of the things that we talk about too is supporting construction trades and things, but like smaller scale developers too, who are, you know, they're going to be the ones that care about properties, who, you know, do a nice job and all of that. We need those folks to stay, get trained, you know, build the duplexes and things in communities too. So, you know, connected to workforce and BOCES and all of that. So I think about the local scale, just developers, you know.
I heard it helps.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have a question. I read this whole thing and I didn't go back and look at the original one that you guys presented to us.
Yeah.
Okay, which had, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of places you could click on. Is that the one? Do I have the right one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I think from our, as the IDA, we have to go out and sell the need to the community or the, you know, to the developers and whatever. Is there a really clear connected dots path in the original one that says that we need this? Because I'll tell you why. I just, first thing I did was I pulled off the census,
Mhm.
last census done. Doesn't show us any growth. And, you know, if I'm sitting out, you know, on the sidelines going, well, if the county's not growing, why the hell do we need 1,100 houses over the next 5 years? And so I think, what would help us is if we can connect those dots and say, it's business, you know, it's, you know, how do we know houses are, you know, they're 40, 50 years old? I mean, I assume they are,
At least, yes.
but, you know, again, where's that piece that maybe it's a little too granular, you know?
No, yeah,
But I
we
think
got
that's the piece I think we really need to start to understand in the community is what the inventory is, what the real need is gonna be in 5 years, okay? Because right now it doesn't show growth.
I do think, John, just to add to that, though, I think there's a piece that, on the affordable / Section 8 housing where, you know, we've done Beacon Towers as a projects we have done and have a policy for. There is a lot of, homeless population that is housed in things like the Anchorage and Rouse's Point or in the Banking Motel, which actually costs the county a significant amount of money to house those people like that. So if there's a way to create, you know, intermixed housing, because, you know, I hear a lot of concerns from people that with like the developments up by Hannaford, I'm forgetting which one that is. Northway, what is it? Northwoods. You know, you're just, it's all the same population, and so you still have the same problems, but actually, we're working with a developer right now, large scale developer out of Syracuse, who's looking at the 10 acres, at Clinton Community College, across the road. He's doing some geotech stuff. We're gonna be passing a resolution for the county tonight to start that work. What the better model is to have a few sprinkled and then have regular workforce individuals living there as well. So that, you know, changes their economic development environment and their housing environment in general. So that could also, you know, that's a piece where we need people out of transitional housing into regular housing. So there's that need as well.
There is,
Yeah.
I just, all I'm saying is how do we connect all those
Right.
dots?
No, I agree.
So
I agree. I
start
just
to
wanted to
understand
add,
that.
I just wanted to add to that. Yeah.
Can you go to slide 9? I think it'll show.
9.
Us. Yeah, this series that we jumped over is exactly sort of some of the pieces that you're getting at, and that's not a good question to ask and something that needs to be constantly communicated. If we're not growing, why is there housing? But right, there's so many different factors, different for different communities, some shared ones across the North Country. But in terms of, you know, quality of what's available, more folks living in single or two-person homes. The reality is we know that folks still can't find housing. But a story that does need to be told in different ways over time.
So I think part of the feedback then for the strategy and its draft form is, can we help make those numbers line up a
Yeah.
little better?
Yep, definitely, because
Right.
we've definitely got
Just some basis.
data.
for-
Yeah.
I mean, having the number there is, I'm not doubting the number at all, you know, any of those.
Yeah,
But. how
But
do
being
I
able to
get-
tell that
how do I-
story,
Yeah,
yeah.
how do I get that back to where I can say, hey, listen, this is real.
here's the need.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the data, so we can do that. Russ.
I think you guys are quiet.
Well, I mean, I think we've come a long way with objective 1.
Yeah.
Already.
Yes.
I mean, two is a political conversation. You know, 3 is gonna take a little bit of work by someone that's not me. Yeah. But, you know, I think we've seen, you know, it's nice to have it in a document that we understand and can share, but I think we knew this existed. To your point, John, you gotta take, even if if you can take a 30-page report and do a 1-page fact sheet
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a
Yep.
handout tool.
And land bank notwithstanding, I think there's been a lot of movement on objective 2 as well, to be honest. You know, there's certainly things that are happening in any of those objectives. It's about building, scaling and doing more.
I mean, for example, so last week I went on a tour, Barton and La Judas,
Oh,
for
right.
our
the-
planning
the-
board.
The brownfield.
There were several locations that were potential housing sites that, you know, could be deemed brownfield designations. Gray Gables was one of the sites we looked at. You know, being able to renovate those or replace those would be great.
Sort of thick walls.
What kind of property is it?
It's an old dilapidated building that was, when it was built in the early 1900s, was state of the art, and it housed the teachers who taught at the rural school there. Yeah. Geez, no, I don't think, no.
Then they're teachers.
Yeah.
And there was an underground tunnel that goes through.
That's the rumor.
That's a story.
Okay.
There is a tunnel that did not work.
That's how they heated.
Hmm.
Because it all came from the school.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Couple Shazy residents here where it's located, so.
Cheesy grads too.
That's it.
But it was turned into
Yeah, he's not
housing
recent.
that became
That's-
unlivable.
Gotcha, yep. Well, and I mean, with a property like that, I'm sure there's numerous challenges,
Yeah.
but, you know, we've seen schools, all sorts of rehabs that have happened across the state in the last 5 to 10 years that, you know, 20 years ago, people would have thought were probably completely insane. So there's precedent for a lot of those buildings that are quite challenging. Still require a lot of money and funds and all of that, but
And we're looking at things like Albany County, where Mr. McCoy has had significant success with his land bank, actually, so. Working with our partners across the state to see how we can use some of their tools up here.
all right, is that the only?
I guess that's it.
I mean, that's an edit we can definitely make and get it back to you and go from there.
You know, the only other thing I would say maybe is like in the section where you have all the resources,
Yes.
have it. Even if a lot of this is still just in electronic format where somebody can click. So if I want to go into Empire State Development to look at something, have it so I can click and know who my contact is or
Live
something like
links, yeah.
So, I meant to follow up with you. I talked to Golden Shovel. We can get all that on the website, actually.
Golden Shovel's like gonna integrate a bunch of their stuff
On the
onto
website,
our
yeah,
site.
that's in the works. There's an entire spreadsheet that, I mean, it's fine. It would be useful, but getting on the website is gonna make it even
Even better.
operational.
Yeah.
So that's in the works.
Yep.
I'll follow up with you about
Yep.
that. All right, well, feel free to send along. any
Great,
other questions.
thanks, Alex.
you.
Golden Shovel continues to be impressive and amazing, just so you guys know, they're just awesome, so. Best purchase we ever made by far. Except for me.
Mike gets credit for that.
Right, sure. You missed it, you just got credit for something.
No, I heard it. Thanks,
Thanks, Alex. Okay, Chairman, we can move on to the treasurer's report. Oh, it seems there's no public comment.
Joey,
Okay. So the account balance as of 6/30/2026 was $99,975 in checking, $914,724.89 in the sweep account, and $248,098.99 in the savings account. As far as the income statement goes, the organization made $305.67 in interest income on the savings account. The organization received a $1,500 application fee from UMS Property LLC, Schluter Systems LP, and a $1,500 application fee from Champlain Solar LLC. The income statement shows the expenses that were approved and paid during the month of June on a cash basis. Our operating expenses, Camoin Associates, she was just here for $9,000. Clinton County Treasurer administrative fees in May of 2026 was $15,666.67. The Hoffman Ells Group accounting services for May of 26 was $300. Golden Shovel Agency gatekeeper service, $12,360. Dorothy Brunel reimbursement for Business Expo raffle, $93.19. Rotary membership dues, $200. Credit card payment, meeting expenses, meta ads, career day, $737.14. Bank ACH positive pay fee, $15. Bank charge sweep fee, $10 for a total expense of $38,382. And that's my report.
any questions for Joey? Not gonna, may I get a motion to approve the treasury report?
I'll make that.
John, second. Dave, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Full business.
Madam Chairman, we have before you, 3 action items. You need to accept the public hearing minutes for the UMS Property Schluter Systems project. And then have the seeker resolution and the approving resolution to provide benefits. Your cost benefit analysis is attached. You'll see there obviously is a significant benefit, which outweighs costs here to what Schluter gives to the community and all the workforce development that they do and what they're going to do with that building. So glad to take any questions, but also CJ is here to answer your questions as well.
So who spoke? Anybody?
Nobody.
Thought you could get a crowd.
You're on mute, CJ.
Oh, unmute, unmute.
It was very similar to all the other public hearings I've went to, except for when I did the windmill. Then I wanted to hate them.
I get a motion to approve resolution number 07-26-02. A resolution determining the action to undertake a project for the benefit of UMS Properties LLC is a type 2 action and no further action is required under secret with respect to their two. Can we get that motion? Joey? John, second. Any discussion? All vote. Steve Cooper,
Yes.
Mike Zero,
Yes.
Mark Leonard,
Yes.
Joey Trombley,
Yes.
Steve, excuse, John Van
Yes.
May I get a motion to approve resolution number 07-26-03, resolution authorizing execution of documents in connection with leaseback transaction for a project for UMS Properties LLC. Dave? Art? Any discussion? We'll call vote, Mike Zero.
Yes.
Mark Leonard.
Yes.
Joey Trombley.
Yes.
Steve is excused. John Van Atten.
Yes.
Three and yes. Dave Roof.
Yes.
So Chairman, did we accept the public hearings? Oh, okay.
We need to accept the public hearing, but it's okay that we do this after the resolution. It's just
Okay.
a quick voice vote on the chair.
Can I get a motion to accept the public hearing? Joey, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Third.
Now we have the approved, we did the approving or
We're all.
we're all done? Perfect.
We're good.
All right. CJ, I think you're done. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much on behalf of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, next item, Chairman, is the rental costs for the new IDA space, which we have already moved into. I would encourage you guys to come down and see it. It's the first floor. As soon as you break the door before the county clerk's office, we're pretty much all settled down. We've got a few more things we've got to hang on the walls, but we're very happy with the new space. And we've got some signage coming next week. I think at the end of the week, that will identify it's the IDA office and the economic development office. So with that said, so I have some numbers that we kind of have to pay. There was a tenant in there that was paying before. So county auditing provide us with what that space is worth. So they could get $16,677 a year for it. A lease was paying $901 a month, resulting in $10,812 a year. So Christine did some math. I trust her math because math is not my area of expertise. But given that you have an employee, myself, that is split evenly between the IDA and Clinton County, you have an economic development coordinator who is paid 15% IDA, and then you have an administrative assistant who's 100% IDA. With that gives you about 55% of what a lease would have paid, which results in $495 a month, around $6,000 a year. So I'm hoping that you guys will approve that, seeing as how we've already moved in. I could be a
I think
spotter.
you should go get your boxes back.
It is nice that we are established as like our own entity. It's and there's three of us, so three of us in that one little office would have been a tough squeeze.
I certainly think it's appropriate. Never have.
No.
But it's about time that we get on our own.
Well, in fairness, your contract did pay for what we envisioned as
Administrative
rent.
costs, yeah.
So,
Essentially, we're upping our administrative fee is what we're doing.
this is a good number. I personally, not knowing this, I was gonna say we should be paying, the IDA should pay half of what the county was previously getting. And that's about where you ended
It's a
up.
little bit more, yeah. And I will add, and I already advised the chairman of this, but, there were a couple capital expenses that we're having to pay the county for. We have them purchase a few things for us. We reimburse them because even though we are tax exempt, buying things on Amazon is a little trickier to prove that I'm tax exempt. So we just buy them through the county, things like we needed to buy a printer, a fridge, things like that for downstairs, so. So there will be some added costs a little bit down the road, but nothing substantial. And one-time costs.
Your motion?
Yes, I do. Second. Dave?
Is it a year by year? Just curious. From this going forward.
Well, I guess my question would be, should we change
The
the
administrative fee.
administrative
Fee.
contract that we have?
We could do that at next meeting, now that you know the figure, we can add it.
Just the dollar amount again?
It's $495 a month, so it's almost 6,000 a year.
So you're saying just meld it into the current contract?
Why do you wanna make two payments?
No.
Make it just add that monthly payment. I think that's the best way.
Then I would ask to withdraw my,
Motion. So we'll come back in the next
Because we're gonna do it
meeting.
at
Oh,
the next
yeah.
meeting.
We'll come back to the next meeting and just revise the contract. We're just, okay, so we'll take this as a discussion. Everyone is comfortable with that number. I might add, Chris, something we probably would need to add in there. We needed to get a new printer copier. I don't want Dee Dee running up here every time she has to copy a check. So, there's a county contract for that and you pay like by page and whatnot. So, I'll get you a figure on that. And additionally, we did get a water cooler, so we have a contract for water. So the small fees, but that would be an ongoing expense.
Pretty high on.
Not me. Another motion, Bill.
And who takes care of the cleaning?
The
Yeah.
county does,
Included.
included.
How much more can we do for you?
Not we. The air is extra. No, I promise, no hot tub. Just a sauna. I have a hot tub at home.
So then we'll vote on that next year.
Correct. So Chris, that'll be a change effective until the end of the year. And then whatever the heck happens going, I don't even know what the term says, but where we are.
Issues, is that the coordinated with these?
Oh, yeah.
The county calendar.
Yeah, so the contract already is. It goes for the calendar year. Pretty
We do it
sure.
every year.
Yeah. Well, I think it was, I think there was a term in there automatically renewed if both parties agreed to the terms and conditions, or something to that effect.
Okay.
The next item I'm gonna toss to Chris.
Yeah, so just a few items, there's a quick memo in there, about the budget. What was the map of the budget, how it affects IDAs, nothing too controversial here. There, the ABO apportioned $250,000 to create a searchable database. So, you know, when you have a searchable database for the public, there can be more scrutiny for IDAs. Doing there, we're doing there. I think it's all for good transparency. I'm not too worried about that one. There's some exemptions under seeker for housing projects.
So we're defined searchable database, like, do I need to integrate that in our website?
No, I just
Oh,
think it's something outside of that, the public could access some
Oh, I see.
different things.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the exceptions are under seeker. I just know that there are some. Happy to look into that further. And then they also extended the use of video conferencing. Remember during COVID, it was the back and forth and, you know, so the way it is right now, it's extended till 2028 for an IDA member to attend a meeting remotely. Because you already adopted a policy for remote meetings. So we already jumped over that hurdle. this would allow you, and it just continues to allow you to, in very specific circumstances, death in the family. You know, a bunch of different things. It's kind of like the last resort. You can attend a meeting remotely and you can vote. You just don't need a quorum in the physical space here at the county reserve. That makes sense. So in other words, you still need four here. And the downside of this is, we don't really talk about this, it lets you attend remotely, but you have to have notice, provide that to the public. So Joey Trombley's attending this meeting remotely because of the death of the family. You put that notice public, and now the public very technically could go to Joey's house.
Oh, right, because you have to have a public location.
Well, does that mirror the open meetings law? I mean, I think that's what the county legislature did. You have to create a kind of
Yeah.
a separate meeting.
I think because North Country Alliance has
So
to do
if
the
people
same
were
thing.
vacationing, you know, you'd have to say that a meeting's existing in Port St.
No, that's
Lucie.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
add on here is you can attend, but now you can vote. In other words, Joey, as long as you get a quorum here physically.
So them viewing Joey on a Zoom call
Yeah.
doesn't qualify as being public?
No,
No, we're, his,
No.
it's a notify.
the space in which he is watching or being taped is a public space for the meeting.
They want to come and
So the notice would say this.
Joey, they're really
Yeah,
picking on you attending
I
remotely.
understand that, but I don't follow
Just
the
come and
logic.
Does,
The logic
does
is
Florida count?
that he's on the screen.
I'll turn on the phone.
The logic is, I guess,
Public space.
he's an IDA member. Because he's attending remotely. That means